what's up? What's going on, everybody? You have now tuned into my Bad Girls Club reunion, East Coast meets West recap, you guys. Let me see if we got any shout outs from last week. We are going to do one shout out to Greg Blanchard, who was like, in actual fighting, we learned that the top part of the skull is the hardest part of the head, and you could actually break your knuckles hitting someone hard there. Bree got lucky that she got all top skull shots and not main face shots. All right. You teaching me something. That's why when you square up and you put your jaw down, kind of crouching a bit, so your main face is less likely to be hit, and they could hurt themselves the higher they aim on your head, because human hands are not that formidable. Okay, I see you, Greg. You giving us that knowledge. What, you be out there boxing on the low? All right. I'm going to have to watch out for you. I'm going to have to bob and weave. All right, guys. All right. So, I don't know how many parts is going to be for this particular Bad Girls Club, but we here. We here. We doing it. Wasn't Tanisha looking so cute? I mean, she's my friend in my head. I'm so serious. I've seen her grow. I mean, we all have, right? But, and she's just like totally transformed. And I'm like, girl, you can't be using them fat girl jokes anymore because you ain't really too big anymore. I mean, you done see her face done slimmed up, everything. Even her makeup is all like glowing and stuff. And then she got love in the air. I'll be watching her Instagram. So yeah, she's doing it. So yeah, and Erica Mena was also there. She's like the backstage host. So it's like both of them is the host, but Tanisha is like the main on the stage host, and then Erica Mena is the backstage host, kind of getting them all pumped up and ready to go, and she kind of calms them down. She kind of gets them all riled up, but then she kind of keeps them in check too, like kind of calms them down. So I guess it's kind of like keeping the balance. But we already know Erica Mena got no chill. If it was really her that was on this show, we know she would have not had no chill. So now Sayorra, Bree, Francesca, and Keyonna, they're still cool. They're still friends. And each of them, they kind of just was like getting reminded of what actually went down and the reason why they was upset before they left. Like what? Okay, so I think, wasn't it Erica? I think it was Erica that was kind of reminding them. She was telling them, like, you got this happened to you. You got punched in the face before you left. What are you going to do now? Kind of reminding them, getting them ready. Like, you here for a mission, girl. It's kind of like crazy because, like, it gets them all hyped up, ready. You kind of just remind them of everything that just happened. And then you don't want them to fight on stage. Like, Oxygen, they be playing themselves, but it's alright though. I see you. So Susan, she's still cool with Seven and Keiyarra, and I gotta say that Susan's outfit was not hot. I mean, I just feel like it wasn't really meant for her body. It did not look good because she doesn't have the bottom to kind of like fill it out. And then it's like, I feel like things was like spewing out of different little cutout sections. And then the boobs were just not right. Like, it was just not a good look for her. I don't know. Like, and I always try to find the good in something, but I just feel like it wasn't. There was like not really. I think her shoes were cute though. And her hair looked nice. So anyways, Deshayla, she stayed home. Which, of course, everybody was talking about because it's like a lot of people wanted to confront her on certain things that she did. I guess that's the reason. Like, she tried to play herself like that's not the reason why she stayed home, but it really was. But we'll get to that in a minute. So first, Francesca and Sayorra comes out. Sayorra coming with a see-through. She want to show her new body that she just recently financed after the show. I mean, she wanted to show it all. She had like little pasties, like she was Lil' Kim or something on her boobies, and then had her shibak side just out the door. I mean, seriously. So then she comes out, and then who else came out with them? Oh yeah, Keyonna came out with them as well. Keyonna looking like she was going to a funeral or going to church, but just like one of the sexy people that go to the funeral or church, because she had like all this out, but then she had on like a long black dress, and I'm just like, girl, you really sure you thought about this before you came to the reunion? I mean, no, no, no. I mean, it wasn't a bad dress, but I just felt like it was the wrong occasion, you know? Anyways, so yeah, they come out and Tanisha actually did ask Sayorra about her body and if it was all real and everything. She like, and she did mention that she financed her body. Like after the show, she said her body was real on the show, but she did gain some weight. So she kind of did like a fat transfer. I'm like, okay, you put that bad girl's money to work already. But she said she financed it. So that means she's still paying for it. That's like when you finance a car, you still paying for your body. So that means you ain't going to want to get. I know if that was me talking about I financed my body, honey, child, you ain't catching me fighting. What you said? Okay, you can have that, honey. All right. Oh, you called me a slut? It's okay. I'll take that. I'll take it and I'll own it. Because you're not going to fight me while I'm still paying for my body. I mean, I'm not going to damage the goods that I'm still paying for. Like, that's like damaging your car and you still paying for it. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? That's not hot. That's not what's up. So, what happened after that? So, Keyonna, she reveals like little secrets about Deshayla and how Deshayla says she wasn't really effing with the other girls like that anymore. And she was sad that she spent all her time with them when she should have been really spending her time with the other girls because she felt more herself, more free, more alive. And they did show a clip where she actually like pretty much said that as well, where she said that she was able to be herself. And I do feel like that's true. I felt like she was more so able to be herself when she was around Francesca and all of them, because I just feel like they're not the judgy type as opposed to Keiyarra and Seven. They're just, especially Keiyarra, it's just like, oh, it's this way or it's the highway. Like, if you're gonna be my friend, you gotta be yourself, but not too much of yourself, because we don't want to see too much. You ain't gonna be embarrassing me if you're gonna be saying that you're my friend. And that's not people that you want to be around. And I had people in my life back in the days that was kind of like that, and it's like, it's not a good feel. It just makes you feel low, and you don't realize it all the time at that moment that somebody's making you feel like crap all the time and every time that you're around them. But when you look back, you're like, well, hot diggity dog, like, that's not really me. That's not who I was. I was just being this person so that they would kind of like, hang out with me, or so they would think that I was cool or whatever. So yeah, but the other girls were saying that she was kind of like a flip-flopper, because all of a sudden they see her talking on Instagram or Twitter, one of them social media sites, and she was talking about Fab 4, and was she talking about Fab 4? I think she said Fab 4 or something like that, but she was basically talking about her and Keiyarra and Seven and Susan. Like, well, hold up, wait a minute, like, what you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you just said that you was happier with us. So they was like, we over her. She's just a flip-flopper. So it seems like she can't really agree with no side. Like, every side is just kind of disowning her at this point. It's just like, no, girl. You did the right thing by staying home, not facing the music. And they even called her up. Tanisha called her, and she says that she just didn't, that she was like over the whole thing. She was over the drama. No, honey, you just didn't want to fight. You didn't want to get beat up by these girls, because you see how grimy they could really be, and how they could just kind of ransack you and just kind of like, bum rush you when you don't even expect it. So she was trying to avoid that. I mean, at the end of the day, who can blame somebody for not wanting to get an ass whooping? You know what I mean? I'll rather watch. But I do kind of feel like, if you are going to say things, perhaps you should own it. I mean, it's like, you say that, if you're going to say something, stand behind what you're going to say, especially if you claim it to be a bad girl. Somebody else could have had that opportunity at the end of the day, because I kind of feel like she didn't really do too much. She wasn't really memorable or anything like that. But then when you look at the other hand, it's like, okay, she didn't want to get beat up or jumped. She didn't want to see these girls get upset with her, so she just stayed home to avoid it. I wonder what happens when you stay home. Like, do they cut your paycheck? Do you get a fine or something like that? I mean, I'm pretty sure you should, because you went through this whole entire journey, and then you're gonna, like, unless it's like a you're in the hospital or somebody for you is in the hospital, or you have some kind of doctor's note, there's no reason a doctor's note. There's no reason why you should not be at the reunion, especially when this is supposed to be like the last one. You know what I mean? It's like farewell Bad Girls Club after all this time. So yeah, Tanisha ends up telling her, like, goodbye, like, we can't talk, we not gonna stay on the phone talking to you, and you can run, but you can't hide at the end of the day, which is absolutely right. At the end of the day, now when she's walking in the streets, I'm pretty sure that some bum chicks is going to be coming up to her like, yo, you whack, you didn't even go to the reunion. Like, because there's people like that just have no filter, no chill, and they would do that. Or if she just so happens to meet up with these girls, I don't remember if she was from the same coast that they was from, but just so happened to meet up. Like, you never know what could happen, especially if you get called for bookings. But it looks like she's probably not even going to go anyway. Like, she just needs to find her path and see what she really wants to do in life. Or maybe her little girlfriend that she was having problems with probably told her don't go. That could have been it too. Maybe after she seen the show, she was like, nah, you're not going back. Keyonna had made a good point, and she said that she didn't want to say too much about her problems or things that she was facing during the show, because she was talking about how she was like, trying to be a love, like get people together to do that little speed dating thing. Tanisha had mentioned that to her, and she was like, yeah, like, because she didn't really get love in her household, her family, but she was like, she wasn't really going to put all that out there, because at the end of the day, and didn't I tell you guys this when we saw the thing about, I think it was either Susan. Yeah, I think in the beginning, like episode 2 or 1, when we saw Susan getting like, people, everybody was coming for her because of the fact that she talked about her husband and how she was cheating. Remember, I said that, like, I'm not the type to just pour out my life to people. And maybe Keiyonna's right. Maybe it is an East Coast thing, but. And I know my family, they taught me, like, you don't speak unless you're spoken to, like being West Indian is a lot of things I wasn't able to do. I had to kind of like grow out of and kind of come out of my shell and things like that. But yeah, it wasn't like, oh, you go and pour your heart out to complete strangers. Nah, you sit down, you chill, you listen to what other people got to say. You take that joint in, and then when you got to use it, you use it. And I remember Remy Ma said something very similar one time. When they was giving her an interview, and she was talking about how she knew a lot of things about Nicki Minaj. She was just like, she listens to what people say, and then she puts it in the back of the closet or whatever, and, kind of takes it out when necessary type of thing, if you kind of cross her or whatever. And that's exactly what I would do. Don't go telling everybody all your business. You don't even know these people like that. Like, you don't know. And I'm not a very trustworthy type of person. So, I don't trust people very easily. That's what I should say. I'm not trustworthy, because you could trust me, but I don't trust a lot of people. So, I'm not going to go doing what these girls was doing. Like, they don't got no damn sense. So 7, she comes in with Keiyarra, and instantly, here goes the fight. It was a fight between 7 and Keyonna, and it looked like 7 kind of got her a punch right in the face. That's what it looked like. Like, they was going a little something, but the security guards was like OD. Like, I felt like those security guards was probably hurting them. Like, it looked like they all, like, it looked like a tackle. Like, they was like straight up trying to like guard them for some joy. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, yo, why is like 10 men jumping on these women? Like, seriously, it couldn't be like 2, 3, y'all, maybe even 4, but it was like a whole bunch of them. Like, I just felt like they was doing the most. Like, are you trying to prove a point that you're really... No, we're not fake trying to take them apart. We're really trying to take them apart. Like, bro, what are you doing? So Keiyarra, she realized that she was like really mad, and she like put a lot of negative energy into the show, and she was just like, she had like a lot of negativity, and she was like, she should have focused more on her music and not so much on being mad all the time. I was like, yes, clap it up. Seems like you have had a little bit of an epiphany right there. You kind of just saw the light or whatever. And they both watched when Deshayla said like all these nasty things about them, how they wasn't really her friend, and how really like Keiyarra especially was kind of like bullying her and things like that, and just kind of like making her feel bad, and she wasn't really a friend to her, and you know, all these things. And they both really got emotional because I think that they really felt like they had some type of connection. But I don't really feel like they saw, but not necessarily Seven so much. I feel like Seven was more of a follower. But with Keiyarra, I just feel like she didn't really see the things that she was doing wrong in that friendship. You know, like, yes, there were times where I feel like she gave her really good advice to kind of uplift her. I'm not even going to take that away from her. But there were other times when I feel like she kind of kept her from being who she really wanted to be because she wanted to please her so much, you know? And she didn't want her to kind of go off on her, so she did a lot of things to kind of like appease her, make her happy, or make her feel like, yeah, I'm here for you, I'm down for you. And yeah, like I said, they just kind of really got emotional, like straight up, like literally crying and stuff. The last person to come out, and it wasn't really like too much that really happened in this particular episode, so this is gonna be like the last thing that I really talk about, was that Susan had came out. And Susan, in that outfit, right? She comes out, and the funny thing about it, Keyonna says to the other girls, she was like, where'd she get that outfit from? I was like, girl, you were saying exactly the same thing that I've been thinking ever since I saw her with the outfit on. But Susan comes out, we see her taking off her shoes, putting her hair up into a ponytail. And Tanisha's like, what's wrong with you? You look like you getting ready for something. She's like, no, these girls, they out here, they want to give a show. She was like, and I'm going to give a show if that's what they want. I'm like, Susan she's like the quiet storm, you know? Like, I feel like her face doesn't go with the way she acts. Like, she would really, like, I would probably, like, she would kind of throw me off if we was to, like, get into something. Because it's like, I feel like she's somebody that you could just kind of push over. Like, she's, like, not even that serious. I don't know if she's doing it for the show to just kind of big herself up or just kind of get her name out there as being bad or whatever. But she just doesn't look, her face and her body does not, well, not really her body, we can't judge the body, but her face really does not go with the way that she actually acts. I don't know, like, it just, to me, it just doesn't make sense. And you know, like, 1 + 1 is supposed to be 2, but here it's just, it's not adding up to me. But I try to push it away and just kind of like focus on what's actually happening. And yeah, she was taking off her shoes and it was looking like she was getting ready to fight. So we see Sayorra take off her shoes as well. Like, everybody's over here taking off their shoes. Like, they just in the park, like, chilling, you know, like on the grass, trying to rub their toes in the grass or something like that. And I'm just like, here we go. Somebody's about to do something stupid. So that was pretty much where it kind of ended. Was where Susan was kind of arguing with Keyonna. So yeah, it looks like it's about to explode next week. I'm hoping that it's only 2 episodes, but we'll see. I mean, because sometimes these reunions, they be kind of like dragging, and I'd be like, really? Ooh, I burped. I'd be like, really? Like, it'd be like 4 reunions. Like, with Real Housewives of Atlanta, it's like 4 reunion episodes. Like, seriously, what are you doing? But I think it looks like it's going to be 2, maybe 3. So I guess we'll see. All right, guys. But thanks for watching. This is the end of the Bad Girls Club. Unless somebody takes them up somewhere and they magically come back. Kind of like what happened with America's Next Top Model. So, I mean, it could always change. But it's to be determined. I mean, I think VH1 could take them up, you know. They can use a little more ratchet on their on their show, on their network. Why not, right? Get a few more ratchet viewers over there. A little bit of rebranding. We got this. All right, guys, but thanks for watching. Be sure to stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I'll see you in the next one.